The coffee had gone cold, but I kept staring at it, as if finishing it would somehow fix the silence. The clink of a fork against porcelain cut through the air, and her voice sliced straight into me. You really think this is living? Scraping by, pretending you're building something big? You're broke. I regret marrying a man like you. The word struck like a knife. I swallowed hard, forcing my voice to stay steady. Say that again? You heard me? Broke. I could have chosen someone who actually knew how to make money. My hands tightened around the mug until I thought it might shatter. Money isn't everything. She laughed, sharp and cruel, a kind of laugh that left no room for softness. That's exactly what a man with nothing would say. Look at me. Do I look like someone meant for this kind of life? I should be walking into offices that shine, not sitting in this tiny kitchen with you. I searched her face for the woman I married, the one who once swore she wanted me, not my bank account. You knew who I was when you said yes. You said you wanted me, not the money. Her eyes narrowed. I thought you'd grow up. I thought you'd become someone worth standing beside. The chair scraped back as she stood. She smoothed her skirt, checked her reflection in the mirror, and reached for her lipstick, like the conversation was already over. So what now? My voice was low. You're walking away? I'm not going to keep living like this. You can stay here and play the dreamer. I have real goals. Those goals don't include me, do they? If you can't give me what I need, then no, they don't. I stepped closer, close enough to catch the warmth of her perfume. What do you need, money or respect? Both, and you can't give me either. The air between us pulsed with something ugly. She tugged the dress higher across her thighs like she was daring me to notice. You wore that for work? It's a finance firm, not a convent. If you can't handle the way I look, that's your insecurity, not mine. Her phone buzzed on the counter. She grabbed it quickly, smiling down at the screen before typing a reply. Who is that? None of your business. You don't control me? I closed the distance, lowering my voice until it was almost a growl. I'm still your husband, barely. The word hit harder than the first. I forced myself back before my anger bled into something I couldn't undo. One day you'll choke on the way you talk to me. She gave me a smirk that burned hotter than any insult. Empty threats from an empty wallet. I snatched my coat from the chair and walked out before the rage consumed me. The wind outside bit at my face as I stepped into the street. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I answered, and the voice on the other end came fast. Where have you been? I've been trying to reach you. I've been busy. Busy doing what? Starving? Listen, the offer is still there. You come in as partner. You put in what little you've got, and I'll cover the rest. We're talking about real ownership here. Serious numbers. I exhaled, staring at the pavement. I can't risk it right now. You can't risk not doing it. You want her to keep stepping on you, or do you want to show her who you really are? His words struck the nerve I'd been trying to bury. You think I'm doing this for her? I don't care who you're doing it for. I care that you stop being everyone's punchline. My grip tightened on the phone. Her smirk flashed through my mind. That word, broke. Send me the paperwork. That's what I wanted to hear. You won't regret this. By the time I got home, the house was quiet except for the faint hum of the television. She was stretched across the couch, glass of wine in hand, scrolling her phone like she hadn't noticed I was gone for hours. Didn't even ask where I was? I said, setting my keys on the counter. Her eyes stayed on the screen. Why would I? It's not like you were anywhere important. You don't even try to hide it anymore, do you? Her gaze finally met mine, cold and sharp. Hide what? The contempt? The way you look at me like I'm nothing in my own home? She smirked over the rim of her glass. Maybe that's because you don't feel like a man anymore. You don't take control of anything. It's not the bills, not me, not your own life. I stepped closer, my shadow falling across her. You want control? You'll see what that looks like. Her lips curved into something almost dangerous. Big words. Tomorrow, you'll still be broke. I didn't answer. I just walked past her into the bedroom and shut the door. The next morning, she stepped out of the room in a dress I hadn't seen before. Red, tight, it clung to every line of her body. The kind of dress meant to be noticed. You're really wearing that to work? She spun slowly, like she knew exactly what she was doing. Do you like it? I hesitated, then forced myself to be honest. It's stunning, but it's not for me, is it? Her lips curled. You're paranoid. It's just a dress. No, it's a message. She brushed past me, perfume trailing in the air. If you can't handle me looking like this, maybe you should ask yourself why. The door slammed behind her, leaving the house in silence. That afternoon, I found myself standing outside her office building. I told myself it was coincidence, but deep down, I knew I came to see. Through the glass wall of the conference room, I spotted her. She was leaning against the table, laughing, not the forced laugh she gave me at home. This was different, light, effortless. And then I saw him. Tall, sharp suit, leaning in just a little too close. His hand rested against the table, inches from hers. She tilted her head, eyes glowing in a way I hadn't seen in months. My stomach twisted. I clenched my fists and whispered under my breath, "So that's who you wear the dress for." My phone buzzed again. I lifted it to my ear. "The deal's about to close," the voice said. "By midnight, the company will be ours." My eyes stayed locked on the glass, on the way she leaned in toward her boss, brushing his arm with hers. "Midnight," I repeated. "That's right." "Why?" I pressed the phone tighter to my ear, never looking away, 'cause tomorrow, she won't be laughing at him anymore. The morning light cut through the curtains when she stepped out of the bedroom. The red dress clung to her body like it had been made for nothing but temptation. My throat tightened, not because she looked beautiful, but because I knew it wasn't. For me, I leaned against the counter and asked, "Who are you trying to impress today?" She turned, spinning slowly with a half smile. "Don't be ridiculous. It's work. That's not a work dress. It's confidence," she said, sliding lipstick across her lips. "That's what wins boardrooms." "No," I muttered. "That's what wins attention. And it's not mine you're chasing." She met my eyes in the mirror, pausing. "You're paranoid. Just because you can't keep up doesn't mean I'm dressing for anyone else. You looked me in the eye yesterday and called me broke. And today you wear that and expect me to believe you're just going to the office?" She closed her lipstick and slipped it into her bag. "You don't understand the world I live in. Power is everything. And if I don't look the part, no one listens." I stepped closer, voice low. "Do they listen? Or do they stare?" Her lips curved, taunting. "If staring gets me ahead, why should I care?" The way she brushed past me made my jaw clench. Her perfume lingered, wrapping around me like smoke. "You're playing with fire," I whispered. She glanced back with that same smirk. "Maybe. I like fire." The door closed behind her, leaving me in a silence that screamed louder than any words. Hours later, I walked into her office building. I told myself I needed to see it with my own eyes, but the truth was uglier. I didn't trust her. Through the glass walls, I spotted her in the conference room. The red dress lit up the space. She leaned against the table, laughing, not the laugh she gave me at home, sharp and dismissive. This one was light, playful, alive. And then I saw him. The man in the tailored suit, sharp, polished, his hand resting close enough to hers that it made my stomach twist. She tilted her head toward him, lips parting as if the whole world had disappeared. Except for the two of them, I gripped the edge of the wall. Fighting the urge to storm in, I whispered to myself that laugh wasn't mine. It never was. That night, I sat across from her at the dinner table. She poured herself a glass of wine without offering me any. "You seemed happy today," I said. She raised a brow, happy. "Saw you." At the office, her glass paused midair. "You came to my office?" "I did." "You were leaning on the table, laughing at something your boss said." Her jaw tightened. "So now you're spying on me? I call it watching my wife forget she has a husband." She slammed the glass down. "You're jealous. That's pathetic." "I'm not jealous. I'm furious. You don't laugh with me like that anymore." She leaned forward, eyes blazing. "Maybe because you stopped being the kind of man worth laughing with." Her words cut deep, but I refused to let them bury me. "You think I'll stay down forever? You think I'll let you treat me like a shadow while you shine for someone else?" She gave a cold laugh. What are you going to do, Oliver? You can't even pay the bills without borrowing. He provides stability. You provide dreams. Which one do you think matters more? I stood leaning over her. Dreams built empires. Stability only keeps them safe. She didn't flinch. Instead, she smirked, almost daring me. Then build. 1. Until then, don't question how I survive in a world you'll never understand. The tension between us was so sharp it almost sparked. My pulse raced. Part anger, part something darker. I turned away before I lost control. Later that night, I sat on the balcony with my phone. The city lights blurred as I stared at the screen. I dialed the number I knew by heart. The voice answered quickly. Well, have you decided? I closed my eyes. I saw her today. With him. I told you this would happen. You need to show her you're not the man she thinks you are. You in? My grip on the phone tightened. I'm in. Good. The deal is closing. By midnight tomorrow, you'll own it all. I opened my eyes, staring at the skyline. All of it. Every piece. The company. The power. My chest rose and fell slowly. Send me the documents. I'll sign. I slipped into bed past midnight. She stirred beside me, whispering half asleep. Where were you? Working, I said flatly. Her eyes opened, still hazy. Since when? Do you work late? Since I got tired of being broke? She laughed softly, not believing me, then rolled over. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the way she leaned too close to him. By the next night, the call came. The voice on the line said, Oliver, the deal went through. You own it now. Caldwell Financial is yours. I sat in silence, gripping the phone. The sound of her laughter in that glass conference room, echoing in my head. Tomorrow, the game would change. Asterisk dinner was quiet until she decided to slice me open again. She set down her fork and smirked. No, sometimes I wonder if marrying you was an act of charity. Maybe I thought I could fix you. Yeah, gripped my glass so hard I thought it might crack. Charity? That's what you call this? What else would you call it? You chase dreams that never pay. I carry the weight. I should get a medal for endurance. I pushed my chair back and stood. You really think you're untouchable? Don't you? She leaned back, eyes cold. You wouldn't understand what it means to actually be wanted, respected, needed. My jaw locked, but I didn't give her what she wanted. Da! I walked away, leaving her words hanging in the air like smoke. Later, I sat in the car outside a high-rise, my hand trembling slightly as I signed the last document. The pen left a black trail that sealed her fate. The man across from me smiled. Congratulations. You're now the majority shareholder of Caldwell Financial. She works for you whether she knows it or not. I exhaled slowly. She called. Me charity tonight? Tomorrow she'll answer to me. He tapped the folder. Keep your cool. Patience is what makes revenge satisfying. I've been patient long enough. When I got home, she was curled on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Legs crossed in that same red dress she'd refused to take off after work. You're home late, she said without looking up. Meetings, I replied. Meetings? You. Her laugh was sharp. Who would waste their time meeting with you? I sat across from her, eyes steady. People who see more than you do. She finally looked up, irritation flashing. Don't start with your cryptic nonsense. It doesn't suit you. It suits me fine. You'll see. She rolled her eyes and returned to her phone. Sure. Whatever you say. I watched her, letting the silence settle, knowing what tomorrow would bring. The next morning, she walked past me in another tight dress, heels clicking like a challenge. She sprayed perfume at the door, tossed me a look and said, Try not to get lost in your little fantasies today. I answered softly, Enjoy your meeting. She didn't catch the weight in my voice. By noon, I was in the boardroom, the head chair turned toward the window. The city stretched out below me, but my focus was on the sound of heels approaching. Laughter floated in before she did. Her voice pitched just a little too sweet for the man beside her. Then the door opened, and she stepped in. Her laughter died. Instantly, her eyes froze on me. I turned the chair slowly and smiled. "Good morning." Her lips parted, shock flooding her face. "What are you doing here?" The executives shifted uncomfortably, sensing the tension. I gestured to the seat. "Across from me, have a seat. We have a lot to discuss." She didn't move. "This isn't funny. It isn't a joke. As of last night, I'm the majority shareholder, which means this company answers to me." The room fell silent. Every gaze shifted between us. She finally walked in, each step stiff with disbelief. She sat down, eyes burning into mine. "You're lying, am I?" I slid the signed documents across the table. "Take a look." Her hands shook as she skimmed the pages. When she slammed them down, her voice cracked with rage. "You can't do this." "Already did." Her boss cleared his throat, uneasy. "Well, it seems we have new leadership. Let's proceed." But she didn't hear him. Her eyes stayed locked on me, fury mixing with something else, something she couldn't name. After the meeting, she stormed into the hallway, grabbing my arm. "What the hell have you done?" I leaned close, my voice calm. "You called me broke, said I was nothing. Now every step you take here echoes under my command." She shoved me back, her breath ragged. "You think this makes you powerful? You think owning this place changes what you are?" I smiled faintly. "It changes everything." Her chest rose and fell quickly. Anger, fear, maybe even something like desire. She hated me more than ever, and yet she couldn't look away. "Stay out of my way," she hissed. "That won't be possible," I said. "Because now you work for me." That night, she avoided me at home. But the silence wasn't victory. It was war. I poured a drink and whispered to myself, "The tables have turned." Her reflection caught in the glass as she walked past the doorway. She paused, watching me, lips pressed tight, before disappearing down the hall. The game had only just begun. The boardroom doors opened, and every head turned. I leaned back in the leather chair, fingers folded, eyes locked on her as she walked in. Her heels clicked across the floor. She froze when she saw me at the head of the table. The color drained. From her face, the same woman who had called me broke now stood in front of everyone. Realizing the ground beneath her had shifted, I didn't blink. The executives whispered to each other. Her boss shifted in his chair, clearly uncomfortable. "Shall we begin?" I said, my voice even. She stayed frozen, her breath catching. For the first time in a long time, I saw something crack through her arrogance. "Please," I continued, gesturing toward the chair beside him. "Have a seat." She slowly sat down, but her eyes never left mine. I laid the folder on the table. "As of this week, Caldwell Financial falls under new ownership. Effective immediately, I am the majority shareholder. All major decisions pass through me." Her boss leaned forward. "This is outrageous. We built this firm. I cut him off. You cashed out. You took the money. That makes me the one in charge." The silence that followed was sharp. I glanced back at her. I expect loyalty from everyone at this table, especially those who questioned mine. Her lips parted slightly, but she said nothing. After the meeting, the executives scattered like startled birds. Her boss stormed out, red-faced, muttering curses under his breath. She stayed seated, motionless, watching me. The room emptied until it was just the two of us. Finally, she spoke. "You humiliated me." I stood, adjusting my jacket. "No," I revealed the truth. Her voice trembled with anger. "You think this makes you powerful?" "It makes me yours," I said quietly, stepping close. "Your boss, your owner. Move you make here goes through me now." She rose to her feet, standing inches from me. Her breath quickened, her chest rising and falling. Her eyes burned, but beneath the fury, there was something else. "You wanted to break me?" She whispered. "No," I replied. "I wanted you to see me," she swallowed hard. Her eyes darted to my mouth before she pulled back sharply. "You'll regret this," I smirked. I dabbed her. She grabbed her bag and stormed out. The hallways buzzed with murmurs. I followed, slowly letting the tension stretch. Employees bowed their heads slightly as I passed. Authority trailed behind me like a shadow. Halfway down the corridor, I felt a sudden pull. She grabbed my wrist, dragging me into a quiet corner. Her grip was tight. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "We need to talk. Alone." I held her gaze. "About work?" Her eyes flickered, hot and conflicted. "Not about work." I leaned closer. "Then what?" She pressed her lips together, hesitation shaking through her. "Later, at home." The words dripped with danger. I nodded slowly. "Then at home." She released my wrist, but her fingers lingered a second too long before she pulled away, leaving a fire in their wake. That evening, the air between us in the car was suffocating. She didn't speak the whole drive, staring out the window with her arms folded. When we finally stepped inside, she tossed her bag onto the counter and turned to face me. "You enjoyed it?" she accused. "What?" "Watching me fall apart in front of everyone. Watching me choke." I shrugged. "Maybe I did." Her jaw tightened. "You've wanted to punish me all along." Step closer. "Punish?" "No. Prove." "Yes." She backed against the counter, but she didn't move away from me. Her voice lowered. "You shouldn't have done this. You've made me feel." "Feel what?" I asked, my voice rough. Her lips trembled. "Trapped."
Right?
I leaned in, close enough to feel the heat of her skin, or seen. Her breath caught. She didn't answer. The silence was louder than any words. She finally pushed past me, grabbing her glass of wine. Her hand shook as she poured. "This isn't over," she muttered. I stood there watching her shoulders rise and fall. "No, it's just beginning." Later, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The look on her face in that boardroom replayed over and over. Fear, anger, but threaded through all of it desire she couldn't hide. She had wanted to crush me instead. She was caught between hating me and wanting me more than she'd ever admit. I whispered into the dark. "You'll never forget the moment you saw me sitting in that chair." Sterisk. She cornered me in the office hallway, her heels clicking against the marble until she stopped just inches away. Her perfume curled around me, sharp and sweet, wrapping me in a trap I couldn't ignore. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone," she hissed, her eyes blazing. I leaned against the wall, calm, refusing to flinch. "I didn't embarrass you. I showed them who was in charge." Her lips trembled. "You enjoyed it, yes," I admitted. "Because for once, you weren't the one holding all the power." Her chest rose sharply, anger clashing with something else. She stepped even closer, so close I could feel the heat radiating off her body. "You think this makes you stronger than me?" she whispered. I tilted my head, lowering my voice. "It doesn't make me stronger. It makes me untouchable." Her breath brushed my neck. Her eyes flicked to my mouth for a fraction of a second before darting away. "You're insufferable," she muttered. "Yet you can't stop standing this close," I said, my voice rough. She froze, her jaw tight. But she didn't step back. The silence between us cracked when a voice echoed down the hallway. Well, someone said we both turned. A woman from her team stood at the corner, arms folded, lips curled into a knowing smirk. Her eyes flicked between us, sharp and calculating. "This looks interesting," she teased, her face flushed crimson. "Mind your business." The woman laughed softly. "Hard to do when your business is blocking the hallway." I straightened, my expression cold. "Shh, you should watch your tone." She arched a brow. "I should. Or will you both give me another show?" Her eyes lingered on my wife, smirk widening. "You didn't see anything," she snapped. "Oh, I saw enough," the woman replied smoothly, "and I know exactly how to use it." Back in my office, she stormed in without knocking. "You see what you've done?" she shouted. "Now she thinks she has something on me." I shut the door behind her. "She only has power if you give it to her." Her hands clenched at her sides. She saw us. She spread it around. "Do you know what that will do to my reputation here?" I stepped forward, closing the space between us. "Then maybe stop giving her something to talk about." She glared up at me. "You stood there, letting her think whatever she wanted. I don't care what she thinks." "Well, I do," she said sharply. "I've worked too hard to let this crumble because of you." I leaned in, inches from her face. then stopped standing so close to me in the hallways. Her breathing quickened. For a moment she didn't move. Her lips parted, and I swore she wanted to say something she couldn't admit. Instead, she shoved past me. "This isn't over," she snapped. At home that night, she poured herself a glass of wine and slammed it onto the counter. "She's going to use this," she muttered. "I know her. She'll hold it over me until I break." "Then don't break," I said. "You don't understand," she shot back. "In this world, perception is everything. If anyone thinks I'm distracted, I'm done." I smirked faintly. "You are distracted." Her eyes narrowed. "And whose fault is that?" I set my glass down and stepped closer. "Cheers. You're the one who keeps looking at me differently now. You're the one who can't decide whether to hate me or want me." Her breath caught, and she turned away quickly. "You're delusional, am I?" I asked softly. She didn't answer. The next day, the tension followed us to the office. Every glance from her coworker felt like a loaded weapon. She smirked each time she passed, like she held the keys to a secret neither of us could afford to expose. At lunch, I found her alone in the break room, hands trembling as she stirred her coffee. "She's going to say something," she muttered. I leaned on the counter beside her, then controlled the narrative before she does. She glanced at me, fear flickering in her eyes. "You don't know her? She'll want something in return. Then give her nothing." Her lips pressed tight. "You think everything is so simple?" I leaned closer, my voice low. "It is, because the truth is, she didn't just see you. She saw us, and that terrifies you." Her hand froze on the cup. She didn't deny it. That evening she stormed into the bedroom, pacing. "She cornered me today," she admitted. "She said she'd stay quiet if I help her get promoted." I leaned against the doorframe. "So she's blackmailing you?" Her voice cracked. "Yes. And what did you say?"
I told her I'd think about it."
I shook my head slowly. "She's playing you, and you're letting her." She stopped pacing and stared at me. "What do you expect me to do? She holds all the cards." "No," I said firmly. "I do." Her breath caught. She whispered, almost trembling. "Then, use them." The air between us shifted. Her eyes burned with resentment, but there was no denying the pull. She was too close again, her body angled toward mine. Lips parted. "You think this makes you untouchable?" she whispered. "It makes me the only one who can save you," I said. Her chest rose sharply. She backed away, shaking her head, trying to mask what she couldn't hide. "Stay out of this," she muttered. But her voice wavered. I heard them before I saw them. Two voices in the break room, hushed but sharp enough to carry. "Have you noticed how close she stands to him?" One said. "She blushes every time he walks by." The other whispered. I pushed the door open, their words slicing off mid-breath. They looked at me, startled, mugs frozen in their hands. "Something you want to share?" I asked. Both shook their heads quickly and bolted, leaving their coffee untouched. When I turned, she was at the counter, her hands gripping the edge. Her cheeks burned red. "You hear them?" I asked. "Of course I did," she snapped. "There. Vultures." I stepped closer. "They wouldn't circle if there wasn't blood in the water." Her eyes narrowed. "You think this is my fault?" "I think you make it obvious," I said. She shoved past me, her shoulder brushing mine. "You think you know everything, but you don't know me." At lunch, Amelia strolled into my office. "Uninvited? Busy?" she asked with a smile that wasn't a smile at all. "What do you want?" I asked flatly. She sat down, crossing her legs like she owned the chair. "I just came to say the whispers are spreading faster than you can control. I didn't move, and you enjoy feeding them." She leaned forward, voice dropping. "I don't have to feed anything. People already see what they want. I only have to nod, and the story writes itself." My jaw tightened. "What do you want, Amelia?" Her eyes gleamed. "Opportunities. Access." The corner office upstairs would be a good start. I stared her down, refusing to flinch. "You're playing a dangerous game," she smirked. "Not as dangerous as the one you're playing with her." She stood, smoothing her skirt. "Think about it. Silence doesn't come cheap. That night, she stormed into the living room, throwing her bag onto the couch. She cornered me again, she said, pacing. She told me she'll ruin me if I don't hand her everything she asks for. I leaned back in the chair, calm. So she's escalating. Her voice cracked. She's ruthless. Then fight her, I said. She stopped, spinning toward me. Easy for you to say. She isn't threatening your career. She's threatening both of us, I corrected. And I won't let her win. Her eyes softened for a moment before hardening again. Don't act like this is about us. This is about me. I stood slowly, stepping closer. No, this has always been about us, whether you admit it or not. Her chest rose quickly. She turned away, but her voice was fragile. I can't lose everything I've built. You won't, I said firmly. Not if you stop pretending you're alone in this. The following week, the rumors grew louder. Passing glances in hallways, smirks exchanged at desks. I caught the whispers every time I entered a room. She felt it too. I saw the way her hand shook when she signed papers, the way her smile faltered when someone stared too long. One evening, after another exhausting day, she collapsed onto the couch. I sat across from her, the silence thick. You enjoying this? She asked bitterly. What exactly would I enjoy? Watching me squirm, she snapped. I shook my head. No, I don't enjoy watching you lose control. Her lips pressed tight. You think I'm weak? I think you're scared, I said softly. She glanced at me, eyes flashing. And you're not. I've been scared of you for years, I admitted, but not anymore. Her breath caught. She looked down at her hands, fingers twisting nervously. Minutes stretched. She shifted, moving closer on the couch until her shoulder brushed mine. You don't get it, she said quietly. Everyone thinks I'm untouchable. They can't see me falter. And yet here you are, I said, my voice low. Her hand brushed against mine, just barely. It wasn't an accident. You humiliated me, she whispered. You destroyed the version of me they used to respect. No, I said, locking eyes with her. I destroyed the mask you used to hide behind. Her lips parted, her voice trembling. Then why does part of me feel alive around you? Pulse spiked, heat crawling under my skin. Because for once, I whispered back, you don't have control. Her eyes searched mine, something dangerous flickering there. Leaned closer, her lips hovering near mine, the air electric. Between us? You should hate me, she breathed. Maybe I do, I said. Her hand gripped my wrist. Then why aren't you pulling away? I didn't answer. Neither did she. The silence was heavier than words, more dangerous than any rumor. The sound of a phone buzzing on the table broke it. She snatched it up, glanced at the screen, and cursed under her breath. It's her again, she muttered. Amelia? I asked. She nodded, tossing the phone aside. She won't stop. She wants everything. She won't get it, I said. Her eyes locked on mine. For the first time, there was no arrogance, no armor. Just fear and something roar, if I lose. You now, she whispered. I lose everything. Asterisk, I found her sitting at the edge of the bed, shoulders shaking. I froze in the doorway, unsure if I was seeing it right. She wiped her face quickly, but her voice broke. Don't look at me. I stepped closer. You're crying. Her hands covered her eyes. I don't cry. Not like this. Sat down beside her. Then why now? Her breath shuddered, because I can't keep pretending. I'm tired. Waited. The silence pressed on her until she spoke again. I chased power because I thought you would never give me stability. I thought you would fail me. Her words cut, but her tears softened them. You told me once that you regretted marrying me, said quietly. She shook her head violently. I was angry. I was cruel. But I never stopped. Wanting you? Her head fell against my chest. Her voice muffled. I was wrong. I held her, but inside I didn't feel victory. I felt trapped. The next morning, Amelia walked into my office. No knock. No hesitation. You look tired, she said, smirking. I leaned back in my chair. What do you want? She slid a folder across my desk. Insurance. I didn't touch it. What's in there? Proof, she said smoothly. The kind that shatters everything she just told you. El? I forced my voice steady. What proof? She leaned on the desk, eyes glinting. A photo, her and him. Too close, too late at night, too far from work. I clenched my jaw. When ago, at a hotel bar. Funny, isn't it, how the past has a way of catching up. I didn't open the folder. My silence was all she needed. You can thank me later, she said, walking out. That night, she set dinner on the table, trying to... hard to smile. You didn't say much this morning, she said softly. I had work. You always have work, she murmured, staring at her plate. I watched her carefully. What else are you hiding from me? Her fork clattered against the dish. Why would you ask that? Because I know you, I said, and you only. Cry when you're cornered. Her eyes filled again, but this time with panic. You don't trust me, should I? She stood abruptly. I told you the truth last night. Part of it, I said, her fists tightened. Why are you doing this? Because there are things I need to hear from you, not from anyone else. Later, she found me in the living room, staring at the unopened folder on the table. Her voice shook. What's that? You tell me? I don't know, she said quickly. Then you won't mind if I open it. She froze, breathing hard. Don't. Why not? Her eyes brimmed. Because I made mistakes. Before I wanted to feel powerful, I let myself be seen in ways I shouldn't. Seen with who? I asked. She hesitated, then whispered with him. The room spun. It wasn't what you think, she rushed out. It was attention. That's all. I wanted to prove I could be wanted. My voice turned to ice. You proved it. Her tears streamed freely now. I stopped. I swear I stopped. I chose you. I stayed. Well, I couldn't look at her. Silence filled the room, louder than her sobs. Hours passed before she came back to. Me, eyes swollen, voice hoarse. You won't say anything? She asked. I didn't move. Her hands trembled as she touched my arm. Please, say something. Anything. Finally, I looked at her. You wanted power more than you wanted me. Wanted him when I was breaking myself to build us. And now you want forgiveness without consequences. She broke then, collapsing onto the couch. I can't lose you. If I lose you, I lose everything. I stood, picking up the folder. You already lost something, her voice cracked. What? My silence, I said. I walked out, leaving her tears behind. The photo burned in my hands. She stood in front of me, trembling, voice breaking. It wasn't what it looks like. I held it up, her leaning too close to him at the hotel bar. His hand on her back, her lips parted like she was waiting for. Something, tell me what it is then, I said coldly. One night, it's just one night. I was drunk. He was there. You. I pushed, her voice cracked. I let him touch me. But it didn't go further. Swear it didn't. I stared at her, searching for even a flicker of truth. You told me you wanted me, I said. All this time, while you were laughing at me, mocking me, calling me broke, you wanted him. Tears spilled. I didn't want him. I wanted the power. I thought he could give it to me. I was wrong. I set the photo on the table. You gambled.
Oh.
And you lost. She dropped to her knees in front of me, clutching my hand. Don't do this. Don't leave me. I can change. I pulled my hand away. You already did change. Into someone I can't recognize. She sobbed harder. I'll prove it. Cut ties with everyone. I'll quit the company. Well, you'll what? Pretend this never happened? She nodded frantically. Yes, please. We can start again. I shook my head. We ended the moment you chose him. Her voice rose in desperation. I didn't choose him. I chose you when I came home to you, when I stayed with you, when I cried in your arms. I slammed my fist on the table. You don't get to rewrite the story now. You don't get to make your betrayal into loyalty. She flinched at the sound. Later that week, she followed me into the office, eyes hollow, makeup smudged. She shut. The door behind her. Please listen, she whispered. I didn't look up from the papers I was signing. Don't ignore me, she begged. We built a life. You can't erase me from it. I looked at her finally, my voice steady. I can. I just did. Her lips quivered. What are you saying? I slid the signed divorce papers across the desk. It's over. She staggered back. No, you can't do this. I already did, I said. Her breathing quickened. You think you're punishing me, but you're punishing yourself. Act. You'll regret letting me go. I leaned forward. I regret ever letting you in. She let out a broken cry, slamming her hands on the desk. I loved you in my own way. Your way destroyed us, I said. That night she sat on the floor of the living room, clutching the photo, rocking back and forth. Her voice was a whisper. I should have chosen differently. I should have believed in you. I stood in the doorway, silent. She looked up at me, eyes bloodshot. Please, don't let this be the end, I answered softly. This isn't the end. This is karma. Her body shook with sobs. The next morning I packed my things. She followed me through every room, begging. You can't just walk away. She said. I can, I replied. Then what am I supposed to do? Live with the choices you made? Her voice cracked. You'll never find someone who loves you like I did. I turned to her, my final words cutting through the air. I hope not. I walked out, and the sound of the door closing was louder than her cries. Weeks later, I sat in my new office. The city stretched wide outside the glass walls, mine in. Every sense Marcus leaned against the doorway smirking. Never thought I'd see you here. You believed in me before I believed in myself, I said. You earned it, he replied. And you did it your way. I nodded. She called me broke. Now she knows what broke really feels like. He chuckled. You sure this is the ending you wanted? I looked out at the skyline. Right. It's the one she deserved. The door opened. Again, I turned and Amelia walked in with a smile. Congratulations, she said. The company is thriving. You look good in that chair. I leaned back, studying her. You didn't come here just to compliment me. Her smirk widened. No, I came to ask if you're ready. For what? I asked. She stepped closer, her eyes glinting.